Earnings preview: JPMorgan is expected to earn $1.67 share on $24.99 billion in revenue. Meanwhile, the so-called whisper number is $1.75. The whisper number is the street's unofficial view on earnings. What the pros are saying. Jason Ware, CIO of Albion Financial Group, who has a position in JPM, said, JPM will, as usual, bat in the lead-off position for financial stocks. Its bellwether status is important and widely watched by Wall Street as a beacon for what's going on in banking, as well as a general read-through on the macroeconomic environment. Financials have enjoyed a nice rally over the past several weeks on Fed plans to continue normalizing monetary policy, a strong read on the global economy, and fresh hopes for tax cuts. We expect Q3 trading revenue at JPM to be soft, NIM up slightly, and loan growth running at a solid clip, mid-single digits. The latter data point will perhaps be most watched by investors, given the overall slowdown in loan growth in the banking sector year to date. JPM is not an expensive stock on valuation, pays a nice dividend, and continued improvement in fundamentals should help drive returns going forward. Amy L. Thomas, analyst at the investment and advisory firm Analyze Wall Street, said, JPMorgan is firing on all cylinders. The stock and the company are both acting extremely well, and it is one of the few big banks that is completely recovered from the devastating 2008 financial crisis. The market continues to bid the stock higher, and for a lot of good reasons. John Hintz, co-CIO in Financial, said, trading revenues are expected to be disappointing again this quarter, but this has already been discounted as many banks have already discussed this topic at Wall Street conferences this fall. The stock has experienced a strong run-up of approximately 10% this past month as investors increased their expectations of a Fed rate hike in December and a perhaps more aggressive Fed policy in 2018. Higher rates and a steeper yield curve would benefit JPM and the banks in general. The strong economic backdrop along with expectations for tax reform have also helped the stock's recent short-term performance. As always, investors will listen closely to any insights provided by CEO Jamie Dimon, given his industry status. Winch Financial currently owns the stock for clients and expects the stock to outperform the sector and the overall stock market over the next year, driven by expectations of earnings improvement and slight valuation multiple expansion. JPM has always been an industry stalwart when it comes to profit margins, returns on capital and balance sheet quality, and we see that continuing into the future. Hal Lettens, equity analyst, Capital Investment Council, said, we think JPMorgan needs to really impress in order to head higher. At 14 times earnings, they may be hard-pressed to do so, at least in the short run. With the exception of the 2008 crisis, JPM is at the upper end of their valuation range, and there may be better alternatives in the sector for short-term performance. We still like JPM for the long haul, but feel that interest rates may need to stay meaningfully higher for the stock to break the century mark. JPM has moved in a stair-step fashion since last year's election, and that should continue to be the case. The promise of a fertile operating environment over the next 18 months should limit any fallout if earnings disappoint. Saro Locatelli, analyst, Pinnacle Advisory Group. The stock has gained more than 5% in September on the back of strong data and expectations for tax reform that should disproportionately benefit banks. However, the stock has been trading in a tight range for the past week or so, as investors turn cautions going into earnings after expectations have been lowered due to weak loan growth and subdued trading volume during the quarter. Company profile in various businesses. Here is a brief company profile courtesy of Thomson Reuters Icon. JPMorgan Chase & Company. JPMorgan Chase, incorporated on October 28, 1968. Is a financial holding company. The company is engaged in investment banking, financial services for consumers and small businesses, commercial banking, financial transaction processing, and asset management. JPMorgan Chase's activities are organized into 4 business segments, as well as a corporate segment. The company's segments include consumer and community banking, corporate and investment bank, commercial banking, and asset and wealth management. Its principal bank subsidiaries include JPMorgan Chase Bank, National Association, JPMorgan Chase Bank, N.A., a national banking association, and Chase Bank USA, National Association, Chase Bank USA, N.A., a national banking association that is the company's credit card issuing bank. JPMorgan Chase's principal non-bank subsidiary is JPMorgan Securities LLC, JPMorgan Securities, the United States investment banking firm. The bank and non-bank subsidiaries of JPMorgan Chase operate nationally, as well as through overseas branches and subsidiaries, representative offices and subsidiary foreign banks. The company's principal operating subsidiary in the United Kingdom is JPMorgan Securities plc, a subsidiary of JPMorgan Chase Bank, N.A.